Fantastic. Thanks for being with me here today. Maulik Parekh, please meet the CEO of SPI Global, the winner of many awards for himself as well as his organization.
Thank you.
I'm very happy to be here today.
Well, very welcome, and look forward to spending some time with you here.
That'll be fantastic. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on some of the subjects in the book, right?
Yeah.
In the book we're planning. That is from leaders for leaders, right? And some of the elements are mentioned in the current book. It's called Develop Exponential Power. And the element that you said you want to talk about today was the element of authenticity. I'm very excited about authenticity.
Yeah, I think it's, and you and I discussed this earlier,
Yes.
it's probably the most foundational element in the leader's growth.
Absolutely.
And what I mean by that is, unless there is an authenticity in a leader, and when I talk about authenticity, I think about someone's thoughts,
Yes.
words, and actions are all aligned. So when you meet with that person, or when you're interacting with that person,
Yes.
you can see and feel that alignment that they have across their actions, their thoughts, and their words. But I believe that it goes beyond those things. So the people who typically have strong authenticity to their personality are the people who also spend a lot of time going deep within them and actually found the authenticity rooted in some core beliefs or values or their desires. Right?
Absolutely.
So I think I'm a firm believer of any leader spending some time with themselves first, getting to know them, really realizing what is important to them first.
Yeah, and their own core inner being. Right?
Exactly. And then let that come out in their thoughts. Let those thoughts become the words. And let those words become the actions.
Fantastic, fantastic. I always say that authenticity is almost like a measure. You can measure almost or predict someone's success, especially a team.
Yeah.
Right? You can see a team's authenticity and then predict almost how successful that team will be in the long run.
No, I agree, because actually it's really interesting you said that with authenticity you can predict team success. If you twist it a little bit, I believe that the authentic people
Yes.
are predictable people.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is the reason why we want to work with authentic people is because they don't leave anything for potential judgment, whether if I do this, how would they behave. With authentic people, they put all their cards on the table.
That's true.
You know exactly how they would react, positively or constructively or negatively in a given scenario, because they don't believe in doing anything what we would call passive aggressive. You know, a lot of times.
That's true. It's so authentic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people, a lot of teams spend a lot of time going through motions just to politics, a lot of team dynamic issues, but they don't bring anything to the table. They're all feeling it,
Yes.
but when they come together, they're all giving each other smiles and hugs and share meals, but inside something is not aligned with how they feel. And as soon as that disalignment happens, you lose the camaraderie, you lose that energy
Yes.
that actually make teams do amazing things. When there is no disalignment in the team, that's when teams can achieve great things.
Right.
But they're not spending a lot of time thinking about, oh my God, do I believe that person? Do I trust this person? Do I respect this person? Right?
It's so true. When authenticity is not present within us, it's like we're going against our own brain.
Exactly.
And that causes the stress within ourselves.
That's
And
right.
That stress then goes out into the team.
That's right.
It has impact on the relationships and how the team operates.
Yeah. And I think the biggest challenge people have sometimes being authentic is because when you decide that you want to be authentic, it's a courageous move.
Absolutely. It
Because
takes courage, doesn't it?
it does. And it requires you to make decisions which may not be popular, but you believe in them because your being your thoughts, your actions, your words are all aligned. That this is the right thing to do. So what happens is when you are an authentic person, you may not be liked sometimes, but you will always be respected.
Yes.
And people would be
Interested.
willing to follow you.
Yes.
Right? Whereas you may be liked if you're not authentic, but people don't respect you, and people don't trust you,
And they may not follow you.
and they may not follow you because of that.
So when authenticity is not present, there's no trust, and then there's no certainty.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
As leaders, I think our job is to sometimes go where nobody's gone before,
Yes.
and then have people follow us to these places.
That's
So
right.
how can people trust us when we're not authentic, when there's no certainty for them,
Yes.
even in the person?
That's right.
Right? There may not be certainty in the where we're going, but at least there should be certainty. Yeah, I can trust this person.
Exactly. And being authentic doesn't mean that you're going to be certain either. Being authentic
It's true.
could also mean that you share your vulnerability,
Exactly. Exactly.
or you share your lack of knowledge
Mhm.
with them and say, hey guys, look, this is a completely new environment we are dealing with. I don't know exactly how this is panning out, but based on the information I have right now, this is what I think you should do. So your team knows that this guy or this girl has the courage to tell me he doesn't know everything, but at least he's being authentic about it. Instead of coming up with some strategy or set of tactics that may not at all take the organization to the place it needs to.
Yeah. People don't then trust in the tactics and in the leader.
Yes.
And that's when trouble begins.
That's right. That's right.
Maybe you could share with us maybe a scenario, an incident, or something where you brought authenticity to the game and the impact that's made on the organization that may be this one or another one. Would there be such a...
Sure, actually many of them, but I think the one that is very close to my heart, and it actually began from the moment I joined this organization, was my firm belief that any organization, for them, any organization to succeed, it has to be rooted in taking good care of its employees. So when I joined, my rallying cry for the organization was Malasakit, which is a Filipino word, as you know.
Yes.
Which, there's no English translation directly, but it essentially means genuine care and concern for others.
Yes.
And the reason why it was unique is because I felt it from deep within me, having worked at other organizations in the past, where after a few years I left them because there were parts of the organization, parts of their employment policies, parts of how employees were treated, I did not agree with. And I had told myself that if I have a choice one day, and if I have the privilege to lead an organization, then one of the first thing I'll do is just really remove all the unnecessary drama that goes into running a company. I'll remove all the politics. I will create an organization that genuinely cares for people. And it had to be authentic because if I talk about Malasakit, which is an incredibly big word.
Yes. It's a very important Filipino term.
It's an important Filipino term.
Yes.
So as soon as I knew that, as soon as I talk about Malasakit, if my actions and my words and my thoughts are not aligned with that word,
Yes.
people will see through that,
Yeah.
right? And luckily, because it was such a passionate expression for me, having worked in organizations where Malasakit was not necessarily the first thing everybody talked about, I started leading it, and people started noticing it. In the beginning, they were probably sitting on the sidelines, like, okay, this guy he's coming in, and he's dropping all these big words. Let's see whether he's going to follow what he's talking about, whether he's going to walk the talk.
Yeah.
Right. And luckily, I think we now, if you go and talk to anybody in SBI Global, what's one word that Maulik talks about all the time, or what's one word that has now become glue that allows us to connect and bind us together? they would all say it's not something. It's actually the value, one of the values that we have all signed up on. Like,
It's the core of the core values.
it's the core of the core value.
Fantastic, fantastic. What impact have you seen that this, being authentic makes on a team or an organization? Because so many leaders are very focused on numbers, they're very focused on data, they're very focused on putting things in graphs, right, and making it what they call real. To me, authenticity is very real. How can we help leaders around the world understand that authenticity pays, right, that brings real results?
Well, that's a good point. I think as soon as leaders realize that once you become authentic, once you gain people's trust and respect, and once they won't follow you,
Yes.
then the beauty of that arrangement is they will do anything for you. Once you set a goal, no matter how ambitious that goal is, no matter how incredibly daunting, formidable that goal is,
Or seemingly impossible.
or seemingly impossible, that they are going to walk through the walls for you because they believe in you as a person. They know that who you are is what they see.
Yes.
There are no layers